Hey friends, happy Monday and welcome back to another week of What's for Dinner. If you're new here, hello and welcome. I am Taylor and I share these What's for Dinner videos every Monday to hopefully give you guys some meal ideas and motivate you to cook more for your family. This week I've got a couple new things that were really good, and then we ate out one night, and then some recipes I haven't made in a while. So let's go ahead and get into this week's What's for Dinner. We're starting off with some beef and bean and rice burritos that I made really easily in the Instant Pot. I'd never done this with beef before, but I've done it with like a chicken burrito bowl, but I decided to make it with beef and turn it into actual burritos. So I'm starting off by browning up a pound of ground beef with some taco seasoning. I'm just like chopping that up really well, and then I'm going to add 1 can of Rotel that I did not drain, a can of black beans that I drained and rinsed, about 1.5 cups of water, and then some Knorr beef bouillon to turn that into beef broth. And then I added on 1 cup of white rice and pushed that down into the liquid. And then I cooked this on manual high pressure for 10 minutes and let it do a natural release. And then once that was done, I took off the lid and just gave it a good stir. You could add cheese in now if you wanted to, but I just left it as it was. And then we added cheese directly to our burritos. And I served this with some salsa and guacamole and chips on the side. And it was delicious and super easy. Saturday was when we had our Valentine's Day dinner, so we celebrated a day late because Andy had to work the night before and wouldn't be home till late. And if you're making somebody steak and scallops, you want them to have them fresh. So I'm starting off with my scallops here. They're on some paper towels so they can dry, and then they have this little piece that you're supposed to take off. I did it on most of them. I went ahead and did it on the final one. I think it gets like rough or something, like it's too chewy, so you take that little piece off. I cannot remember, it's been so long since I read about it, but I do know you're supposed to take that off. And then dry both sides really well and season all over with salt and pepper. And then I'm basically doing the same things to the steak, drying them off really well on both sides and seasoning all over with some salt and pepper. I have my large cast iron skillet here heated up over medium-high heat, and to that I'm adding a little bit of oil and a little bit of butter, and then once that's hot I'm adding in my steak, and I'm going to cook it for about 5 minutes for the first side, and then I'm going to flip it over and do 4 to 5 minutes on the other side. I did also have to kind of hold these on their edges because they were kind of thick and kind of sear those edges. Just cook it until the internal temperature reaches your desired doneness. We like ours kind of medium. So once they reach the right temperature, I take them out and rest them on a cutting board covered with foil until we are ready to slice up for our dinner. Then I have my smaller cast iron pan here. Again, over medium-high heat, I'm adding about 1 tablespoon of oil, and then I'm putting my scallops down, and I'm just going to let them cook for 2 minutes. And then after 2 minutes, they should have a good sear on the one side. So then you can go and flip them over, let them cook for about 1 minute on the other side. And once I get them flipped, I'm also going to add in about 1 tablespoon of butter so they can cook in some butter for that 1 minute. And then after 1 minute, they are done and ready. We had salad with this and some garlic knots, and then the steak sliced up, and then the scallops, and Andy and I are the only ones who actually eat the scallops. They were delicious, as was the steak. It was a great Valentine's Day meal. Sunday night, we tried a new recipe for a Mexican bean and tomato soup. I have my Dutch oven out for this because it's going to be a big pot of soup, and I'm heating up a little bit of oil, and then I'm going to saute some red onion that I have diced for like 3 to 4 minutes. And then once it starts to get tender, I'm going to add in some grated carrot, some sliced celery, and then I'm using some minced garlic and minced ginger that I had in the freezer. They're these little cubes. I'm adding in a little bit of both of those, and then I'm doing some chili powder. The recipe called for chili paste. I didn't have any of that, so I just added in a little bit of chili powder, and then also some ground cumin. And then I stirred that around and let this continue to cook for another 5 minutes. And then I'm going to be adding in a can of fire roasted diced tomatoes, 2 large potatoes that I have peeled and chopped up, And then 3 cups of chicken broth. I did water and then Knorr chicken bouillon. And then I also added in a little bit of the Knorr tomato bouillon as well, because I thought it would give some good flavor. And then I let this cook on medium heat for like 15 to 20 minutes until those potatoes started to get a little bit tender. They don't have to be all the way cooked through yet. But then I'm going to add in 1 can of chili beans and then 1 can of drained and rinsed cannellini beans. You can really use whatever beans you want in this. I don't even think I used the beans that were called for in the recipe. I think it wanted red kidney beans and butter beans, but I thought the chili seasoned beans would add a good flavor to it, so I added those in. And then I just let that simmer until the vegetables were really soft, probably about another 15 minutes over medium heat. And then I went in and tasted it, and I felt like it needed a little bit more seasoning, so I added in a package of sazon and then let it simmer again for a couple minutes. And then when we were ready to serve, I stirred in a bunch of chopped cilantro. And then to go with this, we had some quesadillas. The kids and I just had cheese quesadillas, but then Andy used some of the leftover steak and had a steak quesadilla. And this soup was really good. We all really enjoyed it. The kids and I had it the next day for lunch with another quesadilla, and we thought it was really good. Monday night, I just made ham fried rice. Well, actually, it was like ham and steak fried rice because there was a little bit of leftover steak still. So I diced that up, and then I had some diced ham in the freezer, and I sauteed that in a pan for a few minutes, removed it from the pan, and then just made my fried rice as I always do. And then at the end, stirred the ham and steak back in. And this was super simple, and we love fried rice, and the kids really love ham fried rice. I'm not the biggest fan, but it is a way to feed my family, so it's a win. Tuesday night we had Salisbury steak meatballs made in the crock pot. This was really simple to put together, which was perfect because we had Lego Club this day, so I had to get this prepared before we left, and then we don't get home till like 4, so it was nice to just be able to come home and relax and not worry about having to cook dinner. So the exact measurements will be listed out down below. Basically, I'm doing water, which I add in some Knorr beef bouillon to make it beef broth, a package of brown gravy, a package of Lipton onion soup mix, and some ketchup, and I think Worcestershire sauce, and that was it. And then add in your bag of frozen meatballs once you get everything mixed up, and then just let this cook on low. I think I did low for like 6 hours. And then I just served it over some plain white rice that I made in the Instant Pot. It was super simple and really very good. Wednesday night I made Parmesan chicken roll-ups, which I have made this recipe many times before, but it's been a long time. Like, I can't remember the last time I made this, but I had some chicken tenders in the freezer that I bought on markdown, so I decided to make this recipe again. I'm starting off by using a fork and a paper towel to pull out the little tendon piece because it gets tough and like rubbery and hard to eat, and when you're eating it like wrapped up in a crescent roll the way this recipe is, it's really hard to like pick that out, so you want to go ahead and make sure you remove it beforehand. And I'm just removing all of them and then placing them on my air fryer basket, and then I'm just going to season the chicken all over with whatever seasonings you want. I did salt, pepper, and garlic powder, and I think that was it. And I did a little bit of olive oil spray, and then I did that to both sides and stuck these in the air fryer on like 350 for 12 minutes. Then I am making a little mayo and Parmesan cheese mixture that's going to go on top of our Parmesan chicken roll-ups. It's just freshly grated Parmesan cheese and then a little bit of mayo. Exact measurements will be in the recipe that I have linked down below. And then you just mix those together really, really well. I was iffy about this the first time I tried it because just like seeing a glob of mayo on the chicken just did not interest me at all, but it makes the chicken like really juicy, and yeah, it kind of like melts into the chicken and it's delicious. Then I am getting out my crescent rolls. These are the new ones from Aldi, and they were not the worst. I will say it's like pie crust. You need to take it out of the fridge and let it like come to room temperature a little bit to be able to like unroll it because it's so like stiff. I definitely prefer the ones that were in the can, so it's very upsetting that they changed it to these ones. And then I got them on my sheet pan, and then I got my chicken tenders, one on each little crescent roll, and then topped them with a little bit of that Parmesan and mayo mixture evenly on each one. And then I added on a piece of mozzarella cheese. It's like half of a piece of mozzarella cheese on each one. And then I tried to wrap the crescent rolls around them. They were kind of like breaking and not wrapping around so well. So I just did the best that I could. Once I had them all rolled up, I spritzed them with some cooking spray and then sprinkled on a little bit of the like shaky Parmesan cheese, and then baked these on 375 for about 15 minutes, and they came out nice and golden. Had some people complaining about the new ones, saying they didn't brown very well, but I had no problem. But maybe that's because I did spray them with cooking spray. Who knows? They weren't terrible, but definitely prefer the ones in the can. To go with this, we had some marinara sauce for dipping and then a salad on the side. And finally, the last meal of the week. Thursday, we ordered pizza. We had Domino's Pizza. I didn't really feel like cooking. Andy suggested ordering it at lunchtime, and I was like, why would we order pizza at lunch? Why don't we order pizza for dinner when I don't feel like cooking? And so that's what we did. They had a deal. I don't know if they still do. It was like $9.99 per pizza, medium or large, and almost as many toppings as you want. Each of these pizzas was only $9.99, which is really good considering Andy's pizza is usually more than $10 for the medium, and we got the large. So it was a good deal. And then we had pizza for dinner this night and then lunch the next day because we had plenty of leftovers. But that is going to be it for this week's What's for Dinner. I hope that y'all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you leave me a thumbs up in the comments down below. And also let me know down there if you plan on trying any of these recipes. I hope y'all have a great week, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye!